The internet has this massive fundamental problem that's kind of forcing all of us to make an impossible choice. How do we keep people safe online, especially kids, without making everyone surrender their privacy? It's one of the biggest crises on the web today, and we're going to explore a potential solution that really tries to solve both sides of that coin. And this is the core dilemma right here. On one side, you've got the old school internet, kind of the Wild West, right? Total anonymity, but honestly, no real way to protect vulnerable people. On the other side, you've got a world where safety means handing over your driver's license or your passport to every single app and website you use. It feels like a false choice, doesn't it? And it's one the internet is forcing on us right now. So how did we even get here, to this digital crossroads? Well, this first section is all about breaking down the global push that's brought this whole conflict to a boiling point. And this isn't just happening in one country, it's a global thing. You've got the UK's Online Safety Act, you've got various laws popping up in the US, governments everywhere are stepping in. Now the goal is a good one. Of course, we want to protect kids, but the methods they're pushing on these platforms are, let's just say they're a huge problem. They're demanding verification, but the old way of doing it is just fundamentally broken. And this is the terrifying result. I mean, think about it for a second. If a social media company has to store scans of millions of passports, driver's licenses, maybe even your face scan, it stops being just a social network. It becomes a giant glowing treasure chest for hackers. The horrible irony here is that the very thing that's supposed to create safety could actually trigger the biggest identity theft crisis we have ever seen. Okay, so that's the problem, and it's a big one. So now, let's switch gears and look at a potential solution, starting with the very foundation of how we build things online. Meet Web4 Studio. Now, the key phrase to grab onto here is architectural foundation. This isn't just another social media app. It's more like a toolkit, a set of high-tech building blocks that lets anyone build their own social network. And here's the most important part. Security isn't some add-on you tack on at the end. It is baked right in from the first line of code. So what does baked in actually mean? Well, compliance by design means the network is built from the ground up to follow privacy and safety rules automatically. Modular control is exactly what it sounds like. It gives the creator the power to customize the rules and fine-tune who gets to see what. This is what lets them create real safe spaces, not just as a marketing buzzword, but as a technical fact. At the end of the day, it's about putting the power back where it belongs, with creators and their users. And this really gets to the bigger picture, doesn't it? We're all living in a digital world that's dominated by just a handful of giant companies. A tool like this aims to democratize that, to break that monopoly, and allow for a whole ecosystem of different communities to pop up, instead of just a few giant walled gardens. Okay, so we've got the foundation for building better networks. But what about that massive identity crisis we started with? This next part explores what could be the silver bullet for the whole verification problem. This is called UIID, or Universal Integrated Identity, and its whole reason for being is to solve the identity leak, that super risky moment where you're forced to hand over your personal data just to prove something simple, like your age. You can think of it like a digital identity wallet that you and only you hold the keys to. So how does it actually work? It's a really elegant three-step process. First, you verify your real identity one single time, using a standard process, and it gets locked away in a super secure digital vault. Second, when you go online, you use anonymous sub-IDs, or aliases, so your real identity is never ever exposed. And third, this is the magic part, when a site needs to check if you're over 18, it doesn't ask for your ID. It just asks your secure vault a very simple question. And this is the only answer the site gets back, a simple, cryptographically secure yes. Not your name, not your date of birth, and definitely not a photo of your passport. This whole thing is powered by some incredible tech called zero-knowledge proofs. The platform gets the proof it needs with, you guessed it, zero of your personal knowledge. It's brilliant. And just like that, you solve the paradox we started with. For you, the user, your experience is completely 100% anonymous. But for the platform, and for any regulators, the verification is 100% legitimate and rock solid. It actually satisfies both demands at the exact same time. Okay, so let's put the two puzzle pieces together now. The Web4 Studio for building the networks, and the UIID for managing our identity, and see the full picture of how this could create a win-win-win for everyone involved. So let's just run through who wins here. The creator wins, right? Because they can launch a professional, compliant network fast, without needing a massive team of engineers. The user totally wins because you get to enjoy a safe online space without worrying that your identity is going to get stolen. And you know what? Even the regulator wins because they finally have a system that proves you can have strong, rigorous verification and absolute privacy. They can coexist. So, when you add all this up, what are we really looking at? Let's zoom out one last time and think about the bigger vision for the future that this kind of tech could actually build. The real takeaway is that this isn't about just patching up the old broken system. It's proposing a total paradigm shift, a social media 2.0, one that moves way beyond the current models to be professional, verifiably safe, and most importantly, truly private by its very design. And the long-term vision here is, well, it's incredibly ambitious. Now, a multi-planetary identity system might sound like it's straight out of science fiction. I get it. But it's really a way of saying the ultimate goal is to build a digital identity framework that's so strong, so respectful of our rights, that it can serve us far into the future, no matter where we end up. And that really is the question to leave on. A system that promises both safety and privacy, one that protects kids without creating that giant treasure chest for hackers, it really feels like the holy grail we've been looking for. The technology is here. The question is, are we ready to build our digital world on top of it? Definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer.